What's going on, my fellow troops? My name is Xavvo and welcome back to a brand new video. So today I wanted to talk about quite a serious issue with Call of Duty right now, and it is making Black Ops Cold War unplayable. This is going to be a little bit of a ramble, so hopefully you will stay all the way through because there's quite a bit of information I need to put out there about the situation and give my thoughts as well on other situations around this, just in general with Call of Duty, and just to basically warn you guys that of the risk. As you guys will know, Black Ops Cold War is actually one of the newer Call of Duty entries in the franchise. It is from 2020, so it's only 3 years old now, and it has recently started to fall a victim to problems that we have seen in prior Call of Duty titles. And we're talking Call of Duty titles that could be like 10 years old maybe at this point, like 8 years old. We're seeing it in a game that is only 3 years old and is actually still very, very popular with lots and lots of players. And for some reason, recently it has come to my attention, and I'm probably a little bit late to this, so I do apologize. There's other people who've covered this probably days earlier than me, maybe a week earlier than me, but there's been a recent problem with Cold War's servers. Black Ops Cold War has now got a security problem with hackers, and this is a problem that's happened in Black Ops 3, for example, and has never really been fixed or addressed by Call of Duty, by Activision, by the developers. Nothing's been done about it, and we're seeing it with Cold War right now. We've gone probably about a week so far, and nothing's been done about it. That's why I wanted to make my video about it. But it's really, really disappointing, because let's just say it's not as light as you think it is. You'd think, oh, yeah, there's always been hackers in COD. What's the risk? You know, I can play in it, and if I run into one, I run into one, but if I don't, I don't. But no, this is actually quite a widespread problem in Cold War. I would say it's even making the game unplayable, because right now, if you are to go into the game, whether that means just load up a multiplayer game into a public lobby, or you go into zombies, for example, and play a public zombies game, I don't even know if people are capable of doing it through solos. I'd imagine not, but other than that, I would probably just keep your distance away from Cold War in general. There is hackers who have managed to get into the game's security, and people are capable of literally, I'm just going to say what it says right here on this article, because I thought at first it was just DDoSing and some, light hacking, but no, it's literally, they're able to crash your game, they're able to access your IP address, they're able to DDoS, upload tracking software to your literal device, and they're able to download your safe passwords. They are able to do all of this through the game, just through being in your lobby. It's very, very scary stuff, and I would very highly advise you guys to just stay away from Black Ops Cold War until there's further information about this. Hopefully, I will make another following up video to discuss whether anything's been done about it or not, so you guys can stay informed. Generally speaking, I would say just stay away from Cold War. It's really not worth going on it, unless you want someone to hack your COD account and, spread your private information onto God knows where, the dark web. I don't know what they fucking will do with your information.
Something I'd also like to add that I didn't actually mention during recording is that, yes, this does affect all platforms. That includes PS4, Xbox One, and PS5, Xbox Series X, whatever. Like, basically any platform, PC, whatever, any console that you're on that allows this game to play on, you are affected if you go on this game. Because of crossplay, the game shares servers across all platforms. So, no, this is not exclusive to PC. This is an all platforms issue. Just thought I'd make that clear as well.
It's just probably best that you don't go on Cold War, because, yeah, you will likely come into contact with one of these people, because like I say, this has been a current problem with Black Ops 3 for many years now, with hackers just absolutely ruining the game, DDoSing, crashing your game, taking your information, sharing it about, and at this point, I wouldn't even be surprised if they could completely ruin your COD account, which of course is linked across all of the games, so you'll lose all of your progress and shit like that. Just basically, it's not worth touching Cold War for some time until they actually do something about it. And this really, really upsets me, because I did really love the zombies, and I just so happened to be considering making a return video, and voila, this shit happens just out of thin air. Just as I'm about to go back and make a returning to Cold War in 2023 video, I can't do it now. I'm gonna have to put it off until something's done about it, because right now I do not fancy being hacked. Let's just put it that way. So yeah, no, this is really annoying though, because this is like the 5th installment of a Black Ops game in the franchise. It's the 5th one, right? It's only 3 years old, and this shit is happening. What can people actually do realistically? Because if people don't want to play the other games, and they want to play a Treyarch game, and they can't play the recent one, then what are people going to want to do, right? They're going to want to go back to Black Ops 3 or Black Ops 4. And hell, not even those games are safe, because I was actually watching Lego Unlocked's video about this situation, and I do believe he said he went back to Black Ops 4 Zombies, and just playing in a public match in Black Ops 4 Zombies got him DDoSed or got his IP tracked or some shit. So this shit's happening in Black Ops 4, I'm pretty sure, as well. Maybe not as commonly, but I think it is capable of happening in that, because that game is from 2018. And then you've also got Black Ops 3, like I just mentioned, has been putting up with this issue for a long time. And it's not just this that is baffling, because you've got this shit coming out, right, with Cold War being unplayable, with hackers doing all this shit. But this also comes out right at the same time as they decided to start taking down modded clients for old games. So if you don't know, a lot of the older games now don't really have many players. They're very buggy, again, full of hackers, and they're just not enjoyable. So a lot of people out there have made modded clients, or basically other versions of that old game for people to play on like PC and stuff like that. And one of the infamous ones you might know of is Plutonium. If you've never heard of Plutonium, well, now I'm going to tell you about it. Plutonium is like, I guess, a client that allows you to run a lot of the older Modern Warfare games and stuff like that. And there was a lot of other ones that allow you to run older Black Ops games and stuff like that. And they were recently hit with cease and desists, basically takedowns from for copyright by Activision. Activision was like, you're not having none of this. You can't just put our games out and sell them for money or whatever the fuck their excuse was, even though these people were literally not selling them for money. In fact, if I remember correctly, everyone who actually wanted to play on a modded client for an older Call of Duty game, they had to actually go through a security process to prove they'd purchased the original title, the official title from Call of Duty from Activision, in order to get through to play the modded client version. Because it's not fair on all these people, even the people to this day who are still trying to purchase these older COD games to see what they were like. They chuck like these ridiculous, amounts of money at these older games that shouldn't even be the price that they are anymore, but they're still the price they were like 5-10 years ago. And they're chucking like 50 to 80 quid at these old games, right? They hop on and they can't play them because they're old and there's no players in them. So what else do you think people are going to want to do? They're going to want to say, well, I've purchased the game, so now I can use it as a link to get through to the modded clients. But no, Activision is just like hitting everyone with these takedowns and, getting people basically to take down their games, or just basically telling them, hey, you've got to take this down or it's going to get it. You're going to get legal consequences for this shit, right? So this is all happening at the same time. People obviously, as you can tell, are getting very agitated with Activision, with Call of Duty in general. It's just kind of baffling that a multi-million-dollar company or franchise is incapable of having strong enough security to keep hackers out of their games, like even just the 3-year-old ones, never mind the 5 to 10-year-old games. That, to me, really says quite a lot about Call of Duty. I don't really know whether to say it's because, well, they don't really give a shit, or if it's just the fact that it comes with the nature of an older game. They stop updating the public official servers, and when you stop running, updates, what's going to happen? Well, there's going to be problems, there's going to be exploitable issues you can get into. There's like cracks you can find in the system, and you can start getting hackers in there. Like, I get why it's happening, but it's still, to me, a glaring issue over at Activision. I don't seem to think that they even for 1 minute care about the community, and I don't think they care about the games they made. They only are solely driven by the money-making factor and not by the element of fun or the fact that people are, tied to these games. People want to go back and play these older games, but are physically restricted by it because not only is there not enough players, but they take down any form of game that's not even trying to profit off it and is just trying to spread, a cliented version of the game so people can relive their memories or experience the game for the first time. They're stripping that away from people. They're making it so people can't play because they don't update or bring new content to these games, even though they're still costing the amount of money that a new release costs. And yet they don't do anything about these problems. So what the fuck is going on? For Call of Duty, this should be a wake-up call. It should be pretty embarrassing for them that this is happening, let alone to Cold War. It's a 2020 game and it's unplayable right now because people are going to get hacked if they go on the game. I just don't know what to say. All I can really say is just, you guys really have, you've been warned. Just don't play the game. If you have played the game recently, I'm just praying for you. I'm praying for you that you've not you've not had your IP or other personal stuff or like pinched off you, shared about with third parties or whatever. I just hope that you're all in the clear, but it's just not looking good for COD. And of course, they are trying so hard right now to keep up with the competition and trying to bring stuff back because people are starting to have hatred towards Modern Warfare 2, especially the recent game. People are starting to have problems with it. People are saying they don't want to play it, and they obviously can see that. I think that's part of the reason why people are going back to these modded clients or trying to play the older games, because they think, yeah, I don't like the recent games, I'll go play the old ones. And Activision's like, no, you're not doing that. You either play the new games or you fuck off. You know what I mean? Like, it just seems to be some sort of bitter hatred that they have towards their old games. It's almost like they don't even like their old games. They don't care about them. And I honestly wouldn't be surprised if this bug never gets fixed. Like, Cold War is just like dead. I wouldn't be surprised if that just becomes the issue. Cold War is completely dead. It's never playable ever again. Unless you really want to step into a minefield, then go ahead. But like, I guarantee they'll not fix it. And if they do fix it, who's to say this problem won't arise in another year? Or it won't arise again in another 2-3 years? They can keep fixing it. But I think there's obviously an actual real issue with their security, and they're not doing anything about it. And they're not doing much to protect the older games, their old pieces of work. They're just letting them rot, and they're just letting them become subjected to hackers and other glaring issues that are very dangerous to anyone who actually purchases them. I really want to know what you guys think of this situation. If there's anything else I should be aware of. But until then, I'm probably going to keep you updated on anything. If they do tweet anything, if they fix anything, I'm hoping the best for Call of Duty, that they just start to make a turnaround and they fix their ways and they fix these games and make them safer for people to play. And they need to do something. Generally, they need to knuckle down on this hacking shit. It's ridiculous. I mean, we had it in Warzone. They brought out the Ricochet anti-cheat. That really didn't do much at all. I mean, it did a good job of it, but there were still people finding their ways around that. And now we're seeing Cold War getting the same treatment. Who's to say that Vanguard won't be playable in about 2 to 3 weeks? I mean, it's ridiculous. It's actually sad. Yeah, but anyway, thank you everyone for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye, guys.